guys for coming out and working with me on my our project. As you know, the project we worked on is called Extended School Services, Reading Interventions with a Positive Support System to help improve reading growth for our first graders. This is just the agenda that you guys have in front of you. What we're going to do is talk about why the project was implemented. We're going to talk about the implementation of the reading strategies that were used in the interventions in ESS, which is our Extended School Services. We're going to talk about the next step for classroom teachers. We're going to talk about the positive reward system. We're going to talk about the implementation of effective reading strategies and our positive reward system, the results of the program, and how the project relates to our school CSIP and our professional growth plans. And then we're also going to discuss the next step for our school. Okay, so this is just a little introduction of why we started this program. As you can see, our first grade students were well below grade level. We had out of 5 classes, about anywhere in the range between like 15 to 20 students were not on grade level. So we came up with needing help for reading strategies and interventions. So obviously there was a problem. Students were struggling, and so just even developing a positive reward system and helping with teachers learn different reading strategies, we were helping to hopefully improve student academic growth for reading. Okay, so the implementation of reading strategies in the intervention, the teachers began to work first using Extended School Services, which is ESS. The ESS provided a small group of interventions for students to help improve reading strategies and implement effective reading strategies. So these teachers worked with these students and just to, and to help with small group reading strategies to help improve their reading. And these teachers were also able to use a positive reward system for giving students incentives for showing any improvement with their reading scores. They were able to pick from maybe choosing a buddy to go see. We had incentives like, things like food or stickers or pencils or extra computer time. Anytime that the teacher did a running record to help improve, to show improvement on their scores, that they were able to get their positive reward. So that was we also used that for an incentive. And again, students were able to pick what they would like. And the ESS began with using effective reading strategies as well as the positive support system together to see how well the reading scores improved. And after this, we saw that students were able to make gains in the ESS program. So then our next step was then to take it in those reading strategies and the positive reward system into the classroom for regular teachers. So of course, you all were able to observe the ESS students during their reading groups to see how the effective strategies they were using and what might work well for you. Okay, so you then took these strategies that you saw in the ESS program that were benefiting the students for reading, and then you took that into your small guided reading, and you were also able to take notes again on other teachers who were teaching the students for the ESS. And then after you guys observed, we were able to talk as a group what you liked, what you didn't like, what you saw other teachers doing that you think you could do in your group, and just maybe different ideas of how to teach reading for small groups of kiddos. And you're also able just to voice any concerns that you had about implementing those strategies into your classroom. Okay, and the next thing we did is after you also observed other students. You were able to receive handouts for helping with reading strategies, and we also were able to use and watch this video. So we'll show this real quick. Teachers that were in this program were also able to view this video, which really helped, I think, remind them and give them a different idea of what they can do. Oh.
Students practice previously taught reading. Reading strategies as they read in small guided reading groups led by the
And this video just helped remind the teachers who were working with the program that
the teacher meets with individual students
what the guided reading should look like and what you should be doing during your small group reading instruction.
And possible next steps. After students have had an opportunity to read the text on their own, the teacher draws the group together to debrief the strategies they used to make meaning and also to check for understanding. Students listen and learn from each other as they develop an understanding of unfamiliar vocabulary, use picture clues, and clarify their own thinking.
So we're going to be working on with a fable. That's what we've been doing a lot of work with the last few days on fables. And let's just review for a minute. What are the characteristics of a fable?
So again, this teacher, we were able to observe her and see what she kind of does with her small groups.
Jason?
The characteristics of a fable is a person is mean to someone, and then in the end he learns a lesson.
Thank you. So there's sometimes a lesson or a moral of the story at the end of the fable. Thank you. So how about the characters? What kind of characters can we expect?
Animals?
Maybe some animals, because they're often animals. And remember, sometimes the characteristics are clever, just like this morning, or very foolish. Today, we're going to be reading another fable, but there's a word that I want to clarify before we start, because it will help us better understand what's happening in the fable. Okay? Here's a word. Let's read that word. What do you think that crane? How did you know it was crane and not crayon?
Because the E with the A says snake.
That's right. So the sneaky E on the end makes the A say its own name, right? So crane. There's a lot of different kinds of cranes. I want you to go into your schema, open up that file that says crane. What kinds of cranes are you familiar with? Sharon, what do you think?
The cranes that pick up stuff.
The cranes that pick things up. Do you mean like when they're doing construction and building things? So do you mean this kind of a crane?
Yeah.
So this kind of a crane is used for construction. And what they do is they pick up big heavy things and swing them over as the building gets taller and taller and taller. Thank you. Any other cranes that you're familiar with? If I do this with my neck, we're looking up. That's also called to crane your neck. You might do this when you're drinking a really nice
So it was
cold
nice
drink
to
on
see
a
how
hot
she was
summer's
also
day.
able to go back and
Let's see
activate
this
their prior
person craning
knowledge,
their neck.
use what they know about different cranes, introduce
You
the
should be craning your neck.
vocabulary,
That's an
Review
action on the
other-
verb. To crane.
instructional
another
effective
kind of
strategies
crane
that
as
were
well.
used before.
This is also a crane. What kind of animal do you think that might be?
Bird.
Yeah, kind of bird. Good job. So we have a bird. Here we have is an action word, to crane your neck. So now here's a thinking question for you. If we're going to read a fable, I'm wondering which kind of crane you might expect to read about. A construction crane, someone craning their neck, or the bird named a crane. What do you think, Sharon?
A bird.
Why are you thinking a bird?
Because some fables use animals as the characters.
Is that what you were thinking over here? Yeah. We know that often in fables we can expect to find characters, the characters being animals. So we're thinking maybe the crane in our story might be a bird. And guess what? You're right. Good thinking.
Because it's often animals.
It's often animals in fables, and that's we've been reading quite a few fables. So let's take a look. We have a really short text today. It's called The Peacock and a Crane. You know what a peacock is? It's those birds with beautiful feathers. There's a great picture of one.
Okay, so that was just an example of some things that we were able to look at. And it was just a lot of great reminders for the teachers to be able to have that reminder of just what all, just a minute. Just what all you should be doing while you're doing your small group reading instruction. So the next thing, after looking at the effective reading strategies and being able to observe, being able to have those discussions, watching the video, we were then able to discuss a positive reward system that was going to be in place for the students. And it's just like the positive reward system that was placed in ESS. And the teachers will also shown the results so far of the ESS program and how the students were able to make those gains using the effective reading strategies as well as the positive reward system. Both of those went hand in hand to help those students improve and make their goals and make their gains. Teachers were also given a list of positive incentives to use in their classroom. You know, it could be visiting a buddy teacher, having lunch with a teacher, going to a treasure box, treats, pencils, extra computer time, maybe extra outside time if that's possible, for the students to be able to have. And teachers then began to implement the effective reading strategies as well as the positive reward system in the classroom. And teachers use these in their small groups for reading. Okay. And so we were saying how this was effective in the classroom. Again, the teachers began to use them. After 2 weeks, teachers took the data of those students and what DRA levels they were on, and they were able to meet during their PLC time to discuss the implementation of the effective reading strategies and the positive reward system. So after they were able to use this in 2 weeks in the classroom, they were able to come back, look at their data, see where the students were, did they make gains, and the teachers discussed how well it was implemented in their classroom. They really enjoyed coming back and discussing the effective strategies that each one of them used because each teacher was different, so obviously their styles are a little bit different. So it was nice for them to be able to have that discussion. This is working for me, this isn't working for me. And they were also able to give each other feedback, why they didn't think it was going to be working for them or not. And again, teachers were able to voice and express concerns and have any issues they had about implementation. They really enjoyed discussing, again, the strategies. One thing that they, I feel like was a concern is each student being able to pick their own positive reward. It was a lot for teachers to keep track of. So that's when one of the teachers recommended how the class vote, and every 2 weeks they all are reaching to meet something. And then one teacher found that even having like 2 options worked well for her. So I think it just depended on the classroom and the students and the teachers and what they were flexible enough and able to do. And also students shared, the strengths and gains that they were able to use for the reading and how it helped improve the students' reading and how they were successful. And again, it was nice for them to be able to have those discussions with each other in their PLC time, just to help improve student learning and student growth. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about the results of implementing the reading strategies and the positive reward system. Teachers were able to make, again, any changes in their reading strategies or the positive reward system that they needed in their classroom. Ultimately, they knew their kids, they knew what was working well, what wasn't working well, and what's going to help their students grow. And after 2 weeks of making those changes that we kind of discussed earlier, teachers were to share their reading results of their students. Teachers showed that about 75% of the students were able to make gains in their reading after implementing both the effective reading strategies and the positive reward system in the classroom, which was great because some of the students were kind of stagnant, but then being able to, again, have those discussions and have that PLC time and have all of these resources available to them, they were able to, help meet the needs of all of their students. And again, teachers enjoyed what they just shared what they enjoyed about the reading strategies and what they might do, what they might change. They also discussed even going to more professional developments with each other, and just to kind of see what else is maybe out there or maybe need a refresher or reminder on certain reading strategies to use in the classroom. And teachers they enjoyed the positive reward system because it helped to build more of a community with the students. It helped build more like a positive learning climate for them. And it was exciting because the students were getting excited about their learning because they could see how much they were able to grow. And of course, the incentive, helps for them. And then the teachers also focused next steps in the classroom. Just again, they discussed going to more professional developments, maybe how else could they change the positive incentive reward. And I know they do this in the upper grades, but they even discussed maybe having like little growth parties that maybe all of first grade who grew in their reading could attend. And it kind of holds the kids a little bit more accountable for their learning. Okay, and this is just how the project related to our comprehensive school plan and a professional growth plan. It relates to our school CSIP because it helps motivate teachers to work towards improving our reading scores. Our reading scores are low, so that was one thing that is in our CSIP to improve. And our CSIP also includes ESS funding to help students increase their individual reading scores. So I was able to use that ESS that was part of our CSIP in there. One of our school goals is to provide more small group reading instruction and more effective instruction more of the time. So again, remembering and having discussions and getting refreshers on just certain reading strategies to use in the classroom, they were able to help improve and impact student learning. And the project relates to a professional growth plan because it uses formative assessment to help drive the instruction. The teachers were able to remember to use those running records every day to help see where students are, where they need to be, how they need to grow, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what else can be done for the student. And the formative assessments, like I said, they were used daily in the reading instruction and to help determine the next steps for student growth. Okay, and these are more just next step as a school, because when we discussed what we could do as far as those teachers who were involved in the program, but again, continue effective reading strategies for small groups and interventions. We're going to continue the positive reward system for students who are improving their individual reading scores. And we're going to implement more effective reading strategies more of the time. And we talked about doing it for other grades too, sharing the results for that grade level, and then sharing them with other grades as well to see if they might be interested in it and might kind of get some motivation to help students improve their reading. And again, sharing the results with the school to help motivate other grades to implement more effective reading styles and more positive reward system for the students. And this was just a list of references that we had used. And thank you guys so much. And thanks for coming.